What would have happened if Megumi summoned the 8 Shikigami Mahoraga in episode 5? Back when episode 5 came out, we knew Megumi had a crazy ace up his sleeve, but at that point it was difficult to speculate what exactly it was. It was still just the 5th episode after all, or 9th chapter in case you started Jujutsu Kaisen with the manga. But what if he did go through it? What if he used Mahoraga on Sukuna back then? I'm sure you can imagine how different the story would be if this were to actually happen. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about just that. But before that, I just want you to press that like button and also subscribe to the channel. You'll have plenty of Jujutsu Kaisen content to look forward to. We already have a few other what-if series going on, like what if Toji killed Geto, or what if Gojo fought Kakashi. Definitely check them out once you're done with this video. Well then, let's get back to it. Now, if this were to happen back then, it would have been a war with no victors. Be it Itadori, or Megumi, or Sukuna, all three of them would have died. It was a hopeless situation to begin with. Sukuna had already plucked out Itadori's heart, and now he was going to have his sweet time killing Megumi as well? It was a truly unpleasant situation. There was basically no way except for Megumi to use his trump card. Yeah, Itadori took over the body right before Megumi actually summoned Mahoraga, but if he was a few minutes late, the story of our boys would have ended right there and then, back when Sukuna only had 3 fingers. It's safe to say that he was pretty weak in comparison to other top tiers. Then there's Mahoraga. We know in the manga, 15-finger Sukuna was able to destroy Mahoraga, but there is an unimaginable level of difference between 3 fingers and 15. I mean, Sukuna himself admitted that if he were to fight it back when Megumi was about to use it on him, he would have lost. The thing about Mahoraga is that it has the ability to adapt to any and all phenomena. It's kind of like a late throw in rock, paper, scissors. As we know from the latest chapters, Mahoraga was able to adapt to Gojo's unlimited void. Alright, so back to Megumi using Mahoraga. After Sukuna tells him that he is a waste of talent, Megumi has his inner monologue where he curses his father and talks about how he wants more good people to enjoy fairness. That's why he'll save people unequally. Having said this, Megumi has a serene expression on his face. He knows he is going to die, but he also knows that Sukuna will have the worst of it. So he tells him good luck with an evil grin and enters a state of suspension. It's 8-handled sword divergent Scylla Divine General Mahoraga! Even 15-finger Sukuna had to taste some dirt in his fight against Mahoraga. However, here, we have 3-finger Sukuna going up against the same Mahoraga. I don't know guys, this sounds just as rough as what happened to Jogo in Jogo vs Gojo. Sukuna will get brutally beaten half to death and forced into using his domain expansion, the Malevolent Shrine. It worked when he had 15 fingers, but 3? Definitely not enough. Mahoraga starts adapting and regenerating in real time. It reaches a stalemate where Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine isn't doing any damage. And then finally, when Mahoraga manages to surpass Sukuna's attack potency, the winner is decided. Mahoraga has successfully adapted to Sukuna's cleave and dismantle. Now that Sukuna's domain itself has been rendered useless, there is no hope left for him. I see. So this was your plan. Not bad, Fushiguro Megumi. Not bad at all, Sukuna states. He's come to peace with the idea that he cannot win this fight. But this is Sukuna we're talking about. The narrator himself stated that throughout heaven and earth, he alone is the honored one. He accepts his defeat and dies with grace. Itadori's body is crushed beyond recovery at this point, while Megumi is, of course, dead. Plus, since 3 fingers worth of Sukuna, which was inside Itadori's body, has been exorcised by Mahoraga, it is theoretically impossible for him to come back to life. When Gojo arrives later in the day, he finds Itadori's corpse lying next to Megumi's corpse. Say, Ichiji, it was a special grade cursed womb, right? Gojo asks. Yes sir, it appears so. Ichichi replies. He is sweating bullets. Gojo picks up their corpses and takes them to Shoko for post-mortem. He has been genuinely angered. He talks about it with Shoko. It was the higher-ups' fault. They planned it so that when he was away, the first years are sent to deal with the special grade curse? How does that even make any sense whatsoever? Shoko asks him if Megumi's death was also part of their plan, but Gojo knows exactly what happened. He is familiar with Megumi's personality, and he knows about Mahoraga, so for what it's worth, Gojo can tell that Megumi killed Three-Finger Sukuna using Mahoraga. He died in the process, and Itadori died along with Sukuna. Shoko wonders what's going to happen to Sukuna, now that he's lost his vessel as well as 3 of his fingers. Gojo explains that Sukuna lost only 15% of his soul. He is still a threat, but because he no longer has a vessel, he has gone back to being just a cursed object. The only difference is that, unlike before, there are only 17 fingers left. Gojo thinks about the next course of action. He is visibly frustrated at how everything played out, and, as laid back as he may be, even Gojo can't handle the deaths of his 2 students. Right now, he is genuinely contemplating whether or not he should just kill all of the higher-ups. "Maybe I should just kill all the higher-ups," Gojo declares. Both Ichiji and Shoko gulp because they know how serious he is. By the way, in the actual story, the higher-ups have already been killed. We don't know if it was Yuta or Gojo, but as of chapter 223, the higher-ups are all dead. Most likely it was Yuta and Inumaki who did it, but in this what if, we're going to have Gojo go after them like he was supposed to. And so in the wake of Itadori and Megumi getting killed, the strongest sorcerer decides to launch a coup d'etat all by himself. There isn't much to say. He just absolutely pulverizes and destroys all of them. The order of the Jujutsu Society collapses because of it, especially since the Zenin clan had also just lost Megumi, who was supposed to be their trump card. But it's not like there's anyone foolish enough to oppose Gojo. He leaves the paperwork in the hands of Ichiji and goes on a quest to gather all of Sukuna's fingers. It takes him almost a month to gather the rest of the 17 fingers. He had to go up against the disaster-level cursed spirits. We're talking about Jogo, Hanami, Mahito, and Dagon, but he easily exorcised all of them. Kenjaku survived, but there isn't much he can do considering how Sukuna has fallen into Gojo's hands, and he has lost the companionship of the disaster-level cursed spirits. As for Gojo, he allows the fingers to synergize with each other's cursed energy, and even though there is no vessel for Sukuna to claim, he is still the king of curses, and, therefore, he is dangerous. So this is what's going to happen if Megumi uses Mahoraga against Sukuna in episode 5. We'll have an entirely different story, one where both of our protagonists are dead. Gojo takes control of the situation because he has had enough of the bureaucracy, and now he is planning on summoning Sukuna so that he can destroy him once and for all. Kenjaku will likely lay low for another century or 2 until Gojo is dead, because with the way things are, he has absolutely 0 chance of winning against Gojo. Naturally, 17-finger Sukuna won't be strong enough to defeat him either. Alright, so that's about where we'll end this what-if scenario. Let me know what you guys think. Is this how things will play out if Megumi uses his trump card in the beginning of the story? Should Itadori have somehow managed to survive? And more importantly, what is going to happen from here on out? I'm sure you guys would love to know what happens. Just make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts, and you'll be rewarded with